Oh man, you two are funny.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Yes.
It's competitive.
Every day.
First is too early, then it's too late.
Always. Thank you so much for joining us here at KARE 11 News at Noon. We have a lot to get to today. It is a weather-worn day as we look ahead to potentially dangerous storms. Plus, big events are happening this week, including the celebration of Prince. Later on, we are talking with the legendary Morris Day before his performance here in Minneapolis.
Yes, and then I'm checking out the South Fork Crow River at Delano. As the water levels continue to rise, we're looking into what more rain can mean for them.
First, let's go ahead and get a first look at our weather.
Yes, you mentioned it. Today is a weather-worn day. We do have a forecast for severe storms happening later this evening. Now, things are relatively quiet right now, but we will be tracking a cold front as it moves across Minnesota. The main threat for us is going to be large hail and damaging wind. A tornado or two is possible, and any heavy rainfall we see, especially if there are those training thunderstorms, so storms moving over the same areas over and over again, flash flooding is also going to be a concern. Now, again, things are relatively quiet. Within the last hour and a half or so, you might have noticed the sky growing a little dark. We had some showers due west of the metro, but the atmosphere is not set up for thunderstorms yet. The main cold front is still out over the eastern Dakotas, and what we're doing is we're going to time out where that cold front will be during the peak daytime heating hours. So between 4, 5, 6 o'clock, that front will be moving into western Minnesota. That's where storms are going to initiate before pushing into the east central part of the state later in the evening, probably near and just after the tail end of the evening commute. So good news is most of our commute should be mainly dry. Now right now it's already really stuffy outside. It's 81 degrees, dew points in the lower 70s, so it feels humid outside. We've got a heat index in the mid 80s. That's going to continue to rise as we see a bit more sunshine, and it's also windy as well. South wind right now sustained at 20 miles per hour. So we'll look at the next 12 hours. I'd say after 5 or 6 o'clock, that's our best chance of seeing some thunderstorms. And it looks pretty active through the rest of the week as well. We'll time out the latest forecast details just ahead, Alexis.
Ben, thank you. There are very big concerns right now over possible flooding just outside of the Twin Cities, and another storm is just hours away. CC is tracking what's happening along Crow River.
Yes, so a lot happening over the past few hours. This afternoon, the city of Delano is bracing for flooding. We've been keeping our eye on levels all day long, and the water continues to rise. The water is higher than it was when we were there this morning. So right now, the river is sitting at 15.72 feet, not too far away from hitting minor flood stage, which is 16.5 feet. Keep in mind, though, we have a lot more rain on the way, so the water is only expected to get higher in the days ahead. So when we hit that Saturday into Sunday mark, it's expected to crest near 20 feet, peaking Saturday into Sunday again. That's about the point when city officials would bring out flood walls. Officials say over the last 12 hours, storm sewer valves have been closed to prevent the river water from backing into the storm system. And so at this point, it's really just a waiting game, but you know, Alexis, officials are continuing to monitor things.
Absolutely. I'm sure people are like, okay, when will I get updated?
Yeah, so people are getting updated on social media, and they're actually doing a really good job at taking pictures of crews out there and kind of doing minute by minute updates. So people are aware of what they'll have to do.
Cece, thank you. Well, cleanup is underway in western Wisconsin. Yesterday, strong winds ripping trees from the ground. Just take a look at this video taken about an hour and 20 minutes outside the metro in Milltown, Wisconsin, and you can see a massive tree toppled over near this house. So far, no reports of any injuries. To our south, strong winds made a mess of the Rochester Athletic Club, forcing it to close at least through today. Thankfully, no one was hurt there. With more storms on the way, make sure that you scan the QR code on your screen to download the KARE 11 weather app. It will help you stay on top of today's weather with live updates, radar, and custom forecasts whenever you want. It's free wherever you find your apps. Well, right now, right around dinner time tonight, the St. Paul Public School Board will be meeting for a potential vote on a more than $1 billion budget proposal for next year. Audrey Russo breaks down the numbers in the proposal, including potential cuts.
Funding the state's second largest school district while also grappling with a $150 million budget shortfall. The district's head of finances says that that's the challenge that the school board is going to face tonight when they meet to discuss the budget proposal at 5:30. In their $1 billion budget proposal, food service would see a $5.4 million cut. Community service, $2.8 million less. The general fund would see a $114 million reduction. One area that would see a boost of cash, though, is the construction fund for maintaining district buildings. So where did this deficit all come from? Well, the Association of Metropolitan School Districts says that St. Paul isn't the only one in this boat. A representative telling us last week that this comes from the end of federal pandemic-era funding.
Districts, if they were going to help their students and families, they had to hire those additional people, even though they knew that, in a couple of years, that federal funding would end.
According to the head of the district's finances, it's still less than last year's budget, which also carried a 10-figure price tag. But time is ticking. The district has to pass a budget before the end of the month. Back to you.
Audrey, thank you. And crews in Grand Teton National Park are searching for the 43-year-old St. Paul man who went missing while kayaking. Park officials say that he was last seen around 2 p.m. on Saturday when his friend lost sight of him. The friend says high winds made it impossible to turn around. Search crews found his kayak, paddle, and bag late Saturday night. Well, officials in Carver County are looking for the person who shot a family's dog over the weekend, leading to its death. The sheriff's department says a family member was walking the dog to the end of their driveway when they lost sight of it Saturday night. They say that the dog came home about 15 minutes later with gunshot wounds. The Carver County Sheriff's Office is asking anyone with any information to please call them or submit a tip online. Local doctors are responding to the op-ed by the nation's top doctor, calling on warnings for social media apps. He wants to make the mental health risks for young users more clear. One doctor in our area is not waiting for the government to take action. Psychologist Dr. Dan Rittenberg helped to develop a first-of-its-kind set of standards set to launch this summer. It's a rating system similar to how the Motion Picture Association classifies movies. The standards would essentially rank social media companies in 5 categories, including functionality and transparency, giving a proper and very public grade on each site.
We needed some way for parents to be able to go to a platform and say, is this a safe place for my kid to be? My hope is that these really influence how these companies and these platforms are designed, developed, maintained, and managed.
Well, some of the changes he hopes to see include improving so-called doom scrolling. He's recommending that companies impose a mandatory break by turning its app off if a user reaches a certain limit. He also wants to require companies to respond to someone's concerns within 24 hours. Debate over a highly criticized housing development continues. Nearly 250 people packed the city hall chambers last night in Lino Lakes. The developers of Medina Lakes project says that it would build homes for roughly 1,200 people, restaurants, and a mosque. While some residents are concerned about the size of the development and the traffic it would bring, others welcome an expanding community, something that the developer claims would be a gradual growth over 3 years.
When I drive the streets and I see Love Lino Lakes, Slow the Growth signs, it breaks my heart and it angers me. I think, how could anyone put those two statements together? Because when you take it in its entirety, you are saying, I love Lino Lakes, I got mine.
So again, I am against any large development. I don't care who the builder is. Zakar Holdings, Pulte Group, Lennar Homes, Bob the Builder. It doesn't matter who it is, I am against it.
After the moratorium on the land is up, the proposal will be introduced to the council. A vote is scheduled for July 8th. Well, over in Chaska, the Hazeltine Golf Club is now one step closer to getting a lot bigger. The city council approved the club's preliminary plans to expand, and that includes villas and a performance center for members, a 10-hole short course, and more parking. Hazeltine says it's hoping that an expansion could help them attract more big golfing events. It's set to host the Ryder Cup for a second time in 2029.
Well, if you have plans to hit the skies anytime soon, we're keeping an eye on some flight updates. In less than an hour, Boeing's chief executive officer will testify before Congress. Dave Calhoun is sitting in front of a Senate subcommittee to address whistleblower complaints about Boeing's safety. It's his first appearance in front of lawmakers since a door plug flew off a MAX 737 jet mid-flight. Calhoun is expected to tell lawmakers the safety culture is far from perfect, but is moving in the right direction. Well, if you fly out of MSP, Delta Airlines will soon be headed directly to several winter ski destinations. Delta will resume service to Steamboat Springs, Colorado and Jackson Hole this winter. They'll operate daily during the holiday period, expanding from Saturday-only service. The airline will also offer 2 daily flights to Bozeman, Montana, too. And listen to this. A new survey finds that some of the kindest passengers on planes are right out of Wisconsin. Yeah, solitaire bliss found Wisconsinites are the second most courteous when traveling, just behind people from Arkansas. The most inconsiderate passengers, people who recline airline seats too far, use their phones loudly, or put their bags on seats in terminals, are from our neighbors, Iowa and Illinois. That's according to the survey, too.
I have